All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So if you guys remember earlier, we're talking about CloudFront, right? Where we talked about application load balancer. Now we're going to talk about CloudFront. So, but before we talk about CloudFront, let's go over some of this documentation. So here's the diagram is changing up a little bit. It's getting some more stuff added, right? We already know the concept here, right? But now we're going to talk about this before we jump over here, right? So here is how does CloudFront actually works, right? So an edge location spread around the world, and currently there are over 50 edge locations. Now, definitely this is a little bit older. There's probably over 90 something edge locations around the world now. But what is the purpose of that? So I'm going to read this over. So when the first user requests to get the content, meaning let's say this is my server, and this user located in South America requests to get a content, what happened is the first request goes straight to the origin. And in most cases, the first request goes to the server. Or if this application is running S3, it goes to an S3 bucket, right? But in most cases, it goes directly to the server, right? But what happened is after that first request, that object that this person requested for will be cached in an edge location somewhere, right? And now if an end user wants to access the same thing within that region, it goes to the closest edge location, gather that information and feed it back to the user, right? So that is advantage there, right? So the same thing applies. So, the purpose of it is when the first user requests to get content and the request goes to the nearest edge location, the nearest edge location will be read first to determine whether it contains the cached objects or data. If the edge does not contain the cached data, the edge location pulled the data from the origin, meaning it pulled it from the origin, right? Suppose the S3 bucket or server is in Ireland, but the process is not quicker for the first user. However, when the second user accesses the same file, the file is already cached to the edge location, so it pulls the data from the edge location quicker. This speed up delivery of the data. And of course, this is the purpose of it, right? It's just to help speed up the delivery of the data. So let's test the current speed of our application, right? I'm the user, I'm somewhere, and I'm trying to see how quickly I can access this. So we're looking at the load balancer, and let's go to network. So let's go on developer tool. So if you go to more tools, you see where it says developer tool real quick. Under developer tool, let's look at network, right? And under network, let me see. I'm just going to do a refresh here. And it looks like I'm able to get this within 3 milliseconds, sorry, 132 milliseconds, which is not bad. And every time I do a refresh, okay, it's getting faster because it's 58 milliseconds, right? Because I don't really have a big, but the first time, you remember, the first time it was 132 milliseconds, right? Now, let's do a CloudFront to see if, and I'm going to clear the cache because probably it's already cached right now, but normally it's about, 132 milliseconds. But I think the object is cached locally right now. That's why the time is reducing, right? So I'm going to clear my cache, right? So how do you clear your cache? So if I go to clear browsing data, and I'm just going to do cookie. Let me see the last hour. Clear. Okay. If I go back over here now and do the same thing, I guarantee you the time has gone up a little bit. So let's go developer 2, network, and I'll do that. And yeah, actually the time is actually much lower. Let's try one more time. 59. So I mean, it's back and forth. But what the purpose of an edge location will do is to help reduce that latency. Now, guys, for most of us, yeah, 59 milliseconds is nothing. But when you're dealing with a very powerful application, it becomes a big deal, right? And at the end of the day, the quicker the person can get to your application, the better, right? So the purpose of a cached of doing the CloudFront is to help cache our objects, across all the edge locations around the world. It gives our user a much better experience as far as how quickly they can see our content, right? So right now we're stuck at 59 milliseconds. Let's see if this is gonna once we create a CloudFront. Let's see if that's gonna change anything. But I'm getting a 50304 not modified. So nothing has been modified. So yeah, so that's why I'm getting that. Okay, it's just bouncing back and forth, right? I'm gonna try to privately modify the file and see what happens, but it's not a big deal. So here we go. Let's create a CloudFront. So to create a CloudFront is just very simple. CloudFront, and I'm not sure if I have any ledge locations within this area, Texas, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and create it. It's very simple. I'm gonna create an origin. My origin is gonna be my load balancer because that's what I want my CloudFront to affect. And for now, it's gonna be HTTP only, right? Protocol. That's the only protocol that I have. This is what it's going to be pointing to as far as, hey, anything that's coming through this URL, right? Then it's going to cache those objects in an edge location closer to me. So enable origin shield, it's not needed right here. Pattern is fine. We can do a redirect if we want to. Yeah, let's just keep it HTTP view and HTTPS. Get header is fine. And here I'm going to be using the cache optimize option as far as policy or viewer here. And nothing I need to do here. I'm just going to do not enable security protection. Edge location within North America, but for best performance around the world. Certificate, I'm not going to do that here yet as optional, but I already have some certificates, right? I can add it here, but it's not needed for now. And that's it. Just create my distributions. And immediately that distribution is created, if I go back to right now my 51%, let's see if it's up yet. CloudFront distribution, you have the 30 seconds experience, blah, blah. Okay, I'm gonna close all this. And let's look at our distributions. All right, so it's deployed. This normally takes a little bit of time. For this, what is happening right now is taking our content and trying to deploy it across all the edge locations around the world, right? Pretty much having a copy of our content and putting it there. So the first time I do a click here, I'm checking to see the time difference. It might be longer, right? But trust me, the second time I do a click, it might be lower. It's gonna definitely be lower. So I'm just gonna give that a few seconds here. I'm gonna pause and come back once it's fully deployed. All right, so it's not fully deployed yet, but I just want to show you that yes, it's working. As you can see, this is for my CloudFront. This is no longer coming from my load balancer. So just to give you guys an idea, what is happening here is I have this type of diagram going on at the moment. So here we go. Here is, as you can see, we've gone away from the application load balancer DNS. Now we are pushing it from cloud distribution around the world, right? It's already set up. So now that is set up, now let's take a look. How can I tell? If you look at the URL, guys, this is coming from my CloudFront distribution, right? It's coming from there. That is where it's coming from. I'm going to keep on hitting refresh here. It's still deploying everything around the world. Normally takes a little bit of time, but it gave me a domain name, and here's the domain name that I have right now, right? So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put this here. And as you can see, it's already a secure domain, right? And it's still going to be sending traffic. Well, it's because it's still deploying. But let's take a look at my application load balancer. Okay, so the first time there is, huge. This doesn't really give us any difference, 56, which is not too bad. Yeah, and that's reducing to 7. So it's bouncing between 56, 54, 57 milliseconds, right? Let's see what's going on in this one. This one is only sending it to one single server as far as distribution. And if we go into here, you'll see that it's probably still, okay, it's now enabled. Okay, perfect. So now let's see if this is gonna change. Okay. Yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but anyway, now that it's enabled, that milliseconds will probably reduce. Now it's 54. I'm gonna keep on hitting 56. So 50, right? As you guys can see, I mean, it's not much difference, but it's better than 132 milliseconds, right? So that is the power of, CloudFront. It's kind of reduce the latency of how long it takes for whenever I make a request, how long it takes for that request to show up on my screen, right? So here's how you test that through the network within your developer tool. All right, so that is that. So when we come back, that's CloudFront. When we come back, I'll show you guys how to create a Raffle 3 and pretty much modify this URL to something that is more user friendly. And after that, also, I need to secure the website using AWS Certificate Manager. All right, it should be fun. See you guys shortly. Bye.